Sorry for the delay. We're having some camera issues, but if everyone could please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Any changes to the agenda?
No, Mr. Mayor.
We have a small council tonight, so who wants to make the motion?
Motion to adopt the agenda.
Motion by Amanda, second by Gina. All in favor?
Aye.
Agenda is adopted. We have a presentation. We have the state of the New Prague schools. Welcome. Should have all clapped or something. That was really anticlimactic.
And Linda, did you turn on the mics?
Do you have a green light on your microphone there?
I do. I feel a lot of pressure since you clapped for me as well.
Recording in progress.
So, give me 1 second here. I'm just checking with our remote AV person to make sure that they unmuted. You should be good. Okay, I think we're good to go.
Well, thank you for having me tonight. Andy Volmuth, superintendent of the New Prague, proud superintendent of the New Prague area schools. Thank you, Mayor Julius, for having me. City Manager Terry and I meet quite often, and he extended this invitation a couple of months ago and thought it'd be appropriate to kind of give an update on the city, or excuse me, on the school district. And I know you have a busy agenda tonight, so I have a presentation that I'm going to let you scroll through. If is it working?
Reducing the feedback, so.
Okay.
Give me 1 second.
I can step away from the mic a little bit too. Perfect. Again, thank you for having me. I won't take a lot of your time, but I have a short presentation that I think we've put together to help quantify kind of the experience of the New Prague area schools. And so I come with greetings from my 7 bosses, the 7 school board members. And I'd like to call attention to Miss Jean Schmidt, who's here this evening, Elko New Market resident, as well as Miss Carrie Cuff, who's here as well, who's running for the school board. But my bosses extend their warm greetings and thank you for their continued support, your continued support of the New Prague area schools. As you can see, yes, I have 7 bosses, but I think the bosses that I pay attention to the school board, yes I do. But it's really on the next slide, it's really serving our students and staff. What can we do to make sure that we're providing great, welcoming learning environments for all of our students and providing our staff with the resources that they have or that they need to meet the needs of all of our students. And I'm proud to say that we have great staff throughout the New Prague area schools, and we really are blessed to have wonderful students and wonderful families which we're able to serve. In terms of our district strategic roadmap, you can see our mission and our vision. I won't go through all of this with you, but again, our goal is to be that premier school district that models excellence and prepares all of our students for life's opportunities. And those opportunities are rapidly changing, which makes our job very interesting as we think about how we are changing our practices to meet the needs of our students as we go forward for things that we don't even really know what we're preparing them for at this day and age. And in terms of our core values, we continue to talk about innovation. How can we innovate? Even at times when maybe we aren't resource rich, we talk about being open-minded, the importance of relationship, and having integrity at all times and in all places. And then those areas of improvement, those improvement efforts are our 4 strategic directions that you can see on the right-hand side. I won't read those through for all of you, but that is really our compact to the community, our agreement in terms of our strategic plan and what we hope, what we promise to our community. And as we continue to work, as I continue to work with the administrative staff, we continue to think about those 4 strategic directions, all the while being grounded in our core values. We talk about in New Prague, you can go to the next slide, the importance of culture. And this is my beginning my 2nd year as the superintendent. And I am proud to say that I inherited a very strong culture in the New Prague area schools. So I thank Mr. Dittberner, the former superintendent, as well as the staff who have helped create a culture in terms of that is very student-focused, that is very innovative, that is very relationship-based, and looking to have positive and collaborative relationships with our families and our community partners. We define culture in 3 ways in the New Prague area schools. It's doing what's right, it's committing to excellence, which is on the next slide, and it's showing people that we care at all times and in all places. And so we talk about the New Prague way internally, and when we do that, we go back to those 3 statements of committing to excellence, doing what's right, and showing people that we care. In terms of a school district, we've tried to quantify the experience of the school district, so these next few slides talk about it from last year's data, of course, in terms of who we are and what we serve. So about 95% of our students, about 1% of our students are English language learners. About 16% of our students receive some sort of special education services, whether that be learning disability, whether that be speech and language, so on and so forth. About 20% of our students qualify for the federal benefit of free and or reduced lunch. Our graduation rate of 95% continues to be steady. We push to make it a little bit higher, but we have 95% of our students who are graduating. 81% of our students have a master's degree or beyond. And we have close to 600 or 550 staff members in the New Prague area schools. That's our licensed staff members, that's our non-licensed staff members as well. Our total enrollment, if you include our preschool, is over 4,200 students. We would like our enrollment to continue to grow. And so we continue to, when Mr. Terry and I get together, we talk about development and how we can partner together to increase homes and families in our communities that will then become students in the New Prague area schools. But you can see the breakdown in terms of high school, our CLC, middle school, elementary school, and preschool, about 4,200 students when you add them all together. In terms of I think some of these next slides are just some interesting stats that even shock me a little bit. If you go to the next one, our transportation fleet travels over 867,000 miles a year. In a school district that covers 160 square miles, our transportation fleet, which is our buses, our vans, and our cars, travels that many. You can see we have over 28 full-time employees in our transportation department. We're lucky enough, we're a school district who owns our own transportation fleet. That allows us to provide really good customer service. It also allows us to maintain costs, much more so than we were to go to a third-party vendor. I've had him check that stat twice, 867,000 miles, because I had found it hard to believe the first time, and they verified that that is indeed true from year after year. The next slide I think is interesting as well. Our nutrition services serves almost 700,000 meals a year in all of our buildings. You can see the number of total breakfast serves, lunches that are served as well. If you continue on, you can see that our Fitness Aquatic Center and the stats of the number of check-ins, the number of daily admissions. We have over 100 staff members, not full-time, but who work in the Fitness Aquatic Center on a regular basis. It's a very hot and popular spot for our senior citizen population to meet during the school day. Over 425 of our members are senior members, and they're there on quite a regular basis. In terms of the school day experience, or more so our not operational but academic and arts and activities, We have over 30 athletic clubs or 30 sports that we provide at the high school. And when you add in those clubs, those activities that we offer, it's over 40 plus clubs and activities and sports that we offer our students in New Prague. So we pride ourselves on being a full service school. So it's not only what we do during the school day to provide that high quality education, it's also what we do outside of the school day to provide opportunities for our students both at the high school and at the middle school as well. If you continue on, and we've had great successes. Last year, our boys soccer team made it to the state tournament for the first year. They played their opening round a year ago on a night much like tonight in the rain in Farmington. I'll remember that for a long time. Unfortunately, they didn't advance, but they made it to the state tournament last year. Our girls volleyball team won second in state, took second in state last year in the highest class. And was quite an accomplishment, and I know they're continuing on in the playoffs this next week after winning their first game in sectionals. Our girls softball team also took second place in state and are adaptive floor hockey, and we're very proud of our adaptive sports and those opportunities we provide for our students. We're state participants and award winners as well. So there's great successes, there's great things that are happening in the New Prague schools on a daily basis. If you continue on, again, it's not just athletics, it's the arts and activities. These are some slides and some pictures that we took from our arts evening that we had in the middle of last year. And I encourage you to find ways to check out a musical performance, a play, any of those things that we do. They're really they're done very well, and they really showcase our students. And then, of course, there's the academic side and the perception data. We have room to grow, as all schools do, but you can see our achievement on the left-hand side in terms of the Minnesota Comprehensive Assessments in reading, mathematics, and science, and how we compare to the state average. You can see that graduation rate of 96% as well. And then you can see I just pulled out a few things in terms of feedback that we get from our students and part of a student satisfaction survey where they've said that our school meets academic and social needs. And last year, as we talked and we surveyed our caretakers, 90% of them felt that our education offered to our students was of high quality. And so, yes, we're proud of that. We want to continue to improve that to make sure that we're meeting the needs of both our students and our families. I've said this multiple times, and I'll end on this. I start, even though we've had to make some difficult decisions. We cut $3.5 million at the end of last year. If you think of the year prior, before I started, they cut about $3.1 million. If you add that together, that's 14% of our operating budget over 2 years, which is pretty significant. I still have great hope. I look at this school district as have so many positives, and we have such great staff. We have such strong support from our families and our communities, and we want to continue to grow that. And I have great hope for this school district as we continue to go forward, because there's such a strong foundation here, though we've had to do some difficult things and have some difficult conversations and make some difficult decisions. I think there's great things and there's great potential going forward. And my last slide was cut out, but we talk about proud tradition and promising future, and we want to continue to build upon that proud tradition to ensure a promising future for all of our students and our families. And so we thank you for your support, your ongoing support, and we want to continue to work with you on behalf of our communities and more specifically our student, our families. So thank you for having me.
Thank you. Do you mind if I asked a question?
Sure. Yes, of course I would. You know, the Vikings are playing in just a few minutes.
I'll make it quick.
I forgot that I signed up for this and the Vikings were playing on a Thursday night. That's fine. Ask questions away. Go ahead.
Regarding enrollment,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm assuming it's going up, but I'm really curious about open enrollment as well.
Yeah, we're net in terms of open enrollment. So there are two parts to the question. One was open enrollment, and the other was enrollment overall. When you look at our open enrollment, we benefit by about 450 students compared to the number of students who come into our school district versus the number of students who exit our school district. That number is pretty high in comparison to other places. We capture about 86% of the students who are eligible to come into the New Prague area schools. And for somebody who has experience in other school districts, a capture rate of 86% of students is kind of unheard of. You don't see that number in other districts.
What's typical?
75 would be high. So 86 is very high, right? In terms of enrollment, our overall, if you take out the preschool enrollment, we've dipped below 4,000. We're more so, I think we did projections at about 3,920. Don't quote me on that. We're about 50 to 75 students more than projection, which is a good thing for us, but we need that number to be over 4,000 in order to support the programs and the business model, if you will, that we have, that our families expect, and that our students have really benefited from, right? So the enrollment isn't trending the way we would like. It's kind of flatlined. We would like to see that number go up. The number of kindergarten students that we have planned for next year, yeah, and that's a moving target, but I think this is a number. These are some stats that will be beneficial to you. You asked me a question, now I'm giving you a really long answer, right?
All right, game starting.
Yeah, it does, right, yeah. We graduated about 325 students last year, okay? We're expected to have 190 students entering into kindergarten next year. And again, we're capturing 86%, that's maybe not the most up-to-date data, but we're capturing a majority of the students that we have. The problem that I have continued to say, and Mr. Terry and I continue to talk about, our school district is predicated in houses having 3 to 4 to 5 to 6 kids in those houses. If you think of New Prague years in the past, right? And people are shaking their head, that's not the way it is anymore. And so the number of either we have to have more, so that's where I continue to push development. I continue to say, how can we create development? We need to continue to maintain a strong school experience for our students so that families will continue to want to come to the New Prague area schools. But when you look at our data, it's that there's fewer students in the homes and there aren't as many homes being built, right? So how do we counter that? We counter that by having more homes being built as one method to do that, all the while maintaining a high-quality experience where students want to come.
Thank you.
Long-winded, but there you go. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
I have a question that kind of piggybacks on that a little bit, but the tax abatement has
Yes.
been a hot topic in.
Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, I'm sorry.
And I don't know, this might be like a Tom question or a you question, but I don't really understand like the process and what the school board, like how it's presented to the school board, who, like, are there, like we'll get some sort of a proposal. Tom will, present it to us, give us recommendations, the facts, the pros, the cons. Like, who does that for the school board?
Who does, and
Who evaluates it?
Yeah, like the city of New Prague brings it forward. And obviously they're trying to sell something to get you on board. But like, who does that evaluation piece to be able to weigh the pros and cons for the school board?
yeah, that's a really good question. So ultimately, that's a school board decision, right? So the school board hires me, and their voice, the majority opinion of their voice is the message that goes out. So my job is, I believe, to give them as much information as they possibly can to make an informed decision. So in this particular case, I'm really pleased and happy to be able to work with multiple city administrators. And so I would probably be the entry point into that. Then it would be me working with our Director of Business Services to help evaluate that, to see, does this make sense to our school district, all the while then engaging our school board in discussions and giving them the information so that they can make that informed decision based on the information that they have at that given time. So I don't know if it's as linear as that, coming from one person to another, but that's why I think it's important for Mr. Terry and I to have regular meetings at local restaurants or in offices to be able to understand the pulse of, in my case, multiple communities, right? And so I don't know if I answered that, but that's kind of how that works.
I think that's helpful. I have one more, really not a question, more of a plug. from citizens of Elko New Market is the activity bus that used to come out here. Bring it back, please. I know there was a cost to the families out here as well as, so
Yeah.
I don't understand the whole, obviously it was a split cost probably between the school district and the parents that were assisting and paying for it, but it was a real
Yeah,
benefit for us to
I
have.
appreciate you sharing that. That reduction was made, I own it, but that reduction was made prior to me taking over. I will tell you that one of the things that that helps us in that is we need additional revenue, right? No one in the school district wants to make budget reductions, right? No one wants to do those things, and the reductions of the spring of '23 were the first reductions, my understanding, that the New Prague area schools had made in 13 years. So they could do things that didn't affect classrooms. Not completely, but generally speaking. Last year, our reductions significantly affected classrooms. We cut over 30 staff members as a result of those reductions. So we're not in the bringing back mode just yet,
Fair.
right? I hear it, I understand it, I've heard from some residents as well. We would love to be able to do those things, but then I would say to everyone, that's gonna be important for us to continue to partner to find additional revenue sources.
Do you know about how many of your students are in Elko New Market?
Great question. I do not. I do not. I know that when we look at growth, I think of Eagle View Elementary, and I think of the possibilities around Eagle View Elementary. About 550 students are at Eagle View now. I don't know how many move on throughout the system. I could get that information and send it to you, but I don't have that completely right off the top of my head.
I was just curious.
No, that's a very good question.
Any other questions?
Go watch some football.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having us. Thank you for your support of the New Prague area schools. Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, with that, we'll open it to public comment. Anyone here to speak under public comment tonight? Okay, we'll close public comment and move on to consent. Anyone have any questions or items they'd like pulled from consent? Otherwise, I'll entertain a motion.
No.
Motion to approve consent.
Second.
Motion by Amanda, second by Gina. All in favor?
Aye.
We have no public hearings tonight. We have nothing on general business, so we'll go to reports. Administration.
Third quarter financial report was included in the packet for council review. Do you have any questions?
I did not.
No.
Public Works, you got any report for us?
Ryan,
All right, we'll chalk that up.
what do we got right now?
All right. No, we don't have Craig tonight. Engineering?
You'll hear enough from me shortly.
Looking forward to it. Community development. We have the cannabis bit, right?
Yes. Did you want me to put my presentation on, or do you want to just discuss what was in the memo?
This is really just a matter of how much in feet do we want to look at for buffer zone, right?
Yeah.
Are we good with 100?
Okay.
100.
Love it.
Did you have a recommendation other than that?
I truly didn't. It was completely up to you guys. It makes no difference to me at all.
Okay. Assuming there's nothing more for parks. CCEC.
My bi-weekly plug for the Halloween party. It is this Saturday from 10 to noon at Eagle View. Hope to see everybody there.
There's no scale reports. Is there anything for service delivery?
Meeting is later this month.
Okay. We have no Josh. I'm assuming no one has anything for I-35? Okay. Any discussion by council?
Nope. Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion by Amanda, second by Gina. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Meeting is adjourned.